This is a video on how to use the Survey123 Vernal Pool Field app, and I will be explaining how to enter data into the Vernal Pool Patrol Survey. When you are entering data for a pool in the inbox, meaning this pool's location has been recorded and it is mapped in the database, please take a look at the survey date and time before proceeding to anything else. If the date is prior to the current date or the date of your survey, a completed visit form is currently open. Do not edit anything in this. You need to add a new visit for this pool. Scroll to the bottom of the Visit Data Collection section and click the plus button. You will see a new form appear. Do not delete any previous visits within the survey, meaning do not touch the trash bin. Enter your name and the name of anyone else helping you during the visit. Pool characteristics. Is the pool isolated? Depending on how I answer, more questions may pop up. Water temperature. You will be taking 3 water temperatures around your pool. Remember to measure the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. Once you enter all 3 water temperature values, the form will automatically calculate the average of these 3 values. Maximum pool depth. This question is asking how deep the water is at the deepest part of the pool. You record maximum pool depth at the center of the pool. Water level today. This question is asking how full is the water in the pool on the day of your visit. This is where you will want to look for water marks on trees or look at changes in the vegetation to judge how full the pool is. Pool width and length. You want to record these measurements at the widest and longest points of your pool. Remember to measure in feet. You can use a measuring tape, especially if you have someone else to help you on your visit, or you can measure by pacing. Size determination. This is asking if you determine the size of your pool by measuring, pacing, or using a GPS. Major pool substrate. You will answer this question when the pool is dry, and you will want to look at a soil sample below the leaf litter. Pool vegetation. Floating vegetation cover, emergent vegetation cover, shrub cover, and canopy cover are all percent cover questions. Are trees present? Remember, the trees must have a diameter greater than or equal to 4 inches within or at the edge of the pool to be considered trees. Depending on how I answer this question, more questions may pop up. Plant species. This field is optional and you can enter up to 10 species. For example, if I observed skunk cabbage, I would type it in here. Once I hit enter, a new field for me to add an additional plant species will appear. Disturbance. Remember, we are interested in disturbances in the pool, immediately adjacent, or right along the pool edge. Disturbance present. Depending on how you answer this, more questions may pop up. If you answer yes, questions related to specific disturbances will pop up. These are all yes, no, or unknown answers. Invasive species present. If your answer to this question is none or unknown, no other field will pop up. However, if you answer in pool or pool edge, other fields will pop up. We are specifically interested in knowing if purple loosestrife, reed canary grass, or garlic mustard is present. But if you see any other invasive species, you can list them here. Cover for animals. This is referring to any material that can provide egg attachment sites or cover for adults and larvae. These all have yes, no, or unknown answers. Pool surroundings. If you refer to where your pool is mapped on the database, you can use different base maps to try and interpret what kind of habitat it is. Pool surroundings is referring to the surroundings within 100 feet. Major surrounding habitat. When you answer this question, 2 more questions will pop up, asking about secondary and third surrounding habitat types, but these are optional. Disturbance present. If your answer to this question is no or unknown, no other fields will pop up. However, if you answer yes, other fields will pop up, asking about specific disturbances. All these questions have yes, no, or unknown answers. Indicator species. We have 4 vernal pool indicator species: fairy shrimp, wood frog, spotted salamander, and blue spotted salamander. When looking for these indicator species, be careful when walking along the edge of the pool. For wood frogs, spotted salamanders, and blue spotted salamanders, we are trying to get an idea of what life stages the indicator species are in at the time of your visit, such as egg, larvae, or adult. For wood frogs, we are also interested in knowing if you hear any calls. For fairy shrimp, we are interested in presence, absence, and then a general range of how many you see in the pool. This is an estimate of the entire pool. Other species. For fingernail clams, we are interested in knowing presence, absence, and then a general range of how many you see in the pool. If you see any additional species, you can list them in the additional species field. We are also interested in knowing if you see any predators. Hopefully you do not see any fish, but if you do, please let us know. For bullfrogs and green frogs, we would also like to know what life stage you see them in. Water chemistry. This section is optional. You can usually fill in what the watercolor is and if you detect a sulfuric odor. All the other fields require special equipment. Photos. This is where you take directional facing photos of your pool, north, east, south, west, and any additional photos of the pool, plants, or animals. These directional facing photos are especially important to us because we can use them to compare what the vernal pool looks like year to year. Pool summary. Pool ID. You will see the pool ID code, which is a letter combination that matches the area and a pool number. Each vernal pool has a unique code. If you are adding a visit to an existing pool in the inbox, pool ID should already be filled in, and you do not change this. If you are adding a new pool in the database in the Collect option, you will need to assign a new pool ID using a letter combination that matches the area, a dash, and then a pool number. On the Vernal Pool Patrol Hub and Training Resources, and the Vernal Pool Patrol Training Manual, there are instructions on how to create a new Vernal Pool ID on page 12. It's very important to assign a newly created pool a pool ID before you send in the form, because this is what gets it mapped on the database on the Vernal Pool Patrol Hub. If you do not create a pool ID for a new pool, it will not show up on the database. Project. This is where you will enter what project you are part of. For volunteers, select Vernal Pool Patrol. If this is already preset, do not change it. Source of pool mapping. For most forms, this will be air photo interpretation. If this field is empty, set it to unknown. Ownership. You can select what the ownership of the pool is: public, private, NGO, or unknown. If you are unsure of ownership and the field is not already filled in, select unknown. Directions. This is a field where you can enter directions to your pool. You would list a starting point, the distance and direction from your starting point to the pool, and distinctive landmarks and water bodies to look out for. Pool status and pool vegetation type. You will choose from a list what these are. Pool vegetation type is the vegetation type most prevalent at your pool. If pool status or pool vegetation type ever change, you will want to update this in the form and give it a date in the comments. Indicator species. This is a field where you can know if indicator species have ever been present in the pool. If this field is already filled in with the answer yes, do not change it. Photos. In this section, you could add any photos of evidence of indicator species or unique features here. When you complete your survey, you will choose the option Send Now. If you have service, it will send it directly to the database and it will update the database. You can also choose Continue this survey. This will bounce you back to the editing page and will not save anything. You can also save your visit forms to edit later in Outbox by clicking this. Your form will save in another folder on the main page. Outbox options if you are out in the field with no service and you want to send your form in later. So if you choose these options, your form will save in another folder on the main page called Outbox. So let's say I saved my form in Outbox. We'll go back to the main page and open Outbox. When you open the survey for this pool, you might not initially see your visit. So let's look in here. Monday, March 6, 2023. So if you do not initially see your visit form when opening Outbox into a specific pool ID, you need to scroll to your form in the Visit Data Collection section using this arrow. So it's similar to how you add a visit. So let's look and see. All right, we can see this is the correct form. So then we could continue editing our form, and then once we're done and ready to send it to the database, we would click the check mark and send now.